Next Vice President of the United States, Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan talks a lot about spending cuts and reining in government, but we wanted some more specifics. During my one-on-one sit-down, where the backdrop was pure rural Virginia, I asked the congressman to give us more information, starting with the cuts he'd make.
And can you tell us today what programs you would cut?
We're the ones that passed the budget. We're the ones who put it on paper and passed it through Congress.
But today, can you give us specific programs you would cut?
Sure, we said we should cut domestic discretionary spending by 5% right away.
That
means government
programs?
agency budgets across the board, domestic government agencies. Here's the problem. The only specific net spending cuts that President Obama is willing to embrace are what we think are devastating defense cuts. That puts 136,000 jobs in jeopardy in Virginia alone. Take a look at the legislation we passed. It's very specific, and Mitt Romney has literally put more ideas on the table, more specific solutions on how to prevent a debt crisis than the incumbent president of the United States has.
But it's not just the spending cuts that Ryan mentions. He also talks a lot about taxes out on the campaign trail.
Regulating, taxing.
And again, we asked for more specifics.
You're both proposing specific cuts to loopholes, tax loopholes as well. Can you give us a specific loophole that you would cut?
Yeah, so what we think is we want to lower tax rates across the board for everybody. And we want to start with higher income individuals. So when a high income person shelters their money from taxation by putting it in a tax shelter, then they don't pay taxes on it. We want to close those tax shelters on higher income people so we can lower tax rates for everybody.
Would you save or would you protect mortgage deductions?
I don't want to get into all these kinds of things.
I think those Southwest Virginians have a right to know the answer to that question.
We want Southwest Virginians to be involved in this process. We want their congressmen like Bob Goodlatte to be involved in participating in how to write these details. What I've learned...
That's an important deduction for homeowners and middle-class people.
Yeah, and
right?
so here's what we're saying. There is room in the tax code, even with these tax rate reductions, for middle-class tax preferences, but we don't think there's room for higher income tax preferences.
And how does Congressman Ryan get that accomplished? Leave it to Congress.
But here's the best way to get things done in Congress. We're not going to go to Congress and say it's our way or the highway. Here's specifically how you have to do it. Or we don't want to cut some backroom deal like they did with Obamacare. We want to do this in the public with Congress, with the public participating in this debate. And so let's have a debate with your congressmen, with your senators, with the people of Virginia to decide what are the best ones to keep for middle-class taxpayers.